From the Center for the Study and Teaching of Writing at The Ohio State University, this is Writer's Talk. I'm Doug Dangler. I am joined today in the studio by the folk supergroup Red Horse. That's how it's described. That's how it's described.
No,
we're actually a separate group.
You're a
folk separate group.
Separate group.
Separate group. We get together.
Supper.
We eat.
I see.
We sing a few songs.
I can't even get through the intro with this group before they're changing everything on me.
Yeah.
Lucy Kaplansky, John Gorka,
hello.
Eliza Gilkyson.
Hello.
Welcome to Writer's Talk. Well, I'm very happy that you're here, and you're in town to perform at Six String Concert, and that you've joined us here to talk about the songs that you've written, the way that you work together, the way that you write.
That's right.
Let's start off and say, I've talked to a couple of you before, but how did you get together? You didn't know each other at some point and decided, we now know each other, we should tour as a group. So how did that start for you?
We had all sung together, but in different configurations. We've known each other for years. We've all recorded for the same record label, Red House. John and I have sung together for years and years and years.
Since 1984.
Since 1984. Eliza and I have sung together for about 10 years. John and Eliza have sung together, but the three of us had never sung together. Eliza emailed me and said, do you want to do some gigs with me and John? That was about a year and a half ago. And I said, sure. And I mentioned it to my husband, because I thought it'd be really fun, and he said, why don't you guys make a CD? And that's how it happened. And then Eliza had this really cool idea that we would cover each other's songs. Okay. So that's how this was born.
Right. So you don't sing your own songs, you have to sing somebody else's songs.
We sing we each sing one of our own songs.
Okay. What led to that decision? Just you said, I can't let go of this particular song. This is a John Gorka song.
We thought our fans would, that they would want to hear us. We wanted to give people a little bit of everything. And there are some people who are, quite loyal to, the way you do a certain song. So we thought we'd give them a little.
Horse.
Yeah.
Which of course
Eliza and Lucy switch off being the front and the middle of the horse.
Right, yes, which leaves obviously open for the other parts of the horse to be.
Totally wide open.
Wide open. Okay.
And very consistent.
That's awesome. Great. I've lost control. Thank you. What I'd like to know is about the writing of the song. Lucy, you wrote the song Scorpion.
Yes.
Tell me how that begins, and then we'll talk about how it goes.
It begins in night,
inside at night. No whispers, no worries, no words. Just light fills the corner of your eye. Take me in, take me in. Cold sky, dark Montana, long road. Running fence, radio, trucks blow by. Up high, nowhere, big dreams. Take me back, take me back. I wanna show you everything, everything. I wanna give you everything, everything. There's a chance now and then, now and then. No more cut and run. No more cut and run. Blue night, blue world tracking you. I'm a scorpion, I'm coming after you. I'm running out of darkness and time, looking for you, looking for you. Gonna sting you with a kiss from my lips. Gonna sting you with a piece of my mind. everything, everything. I wanna give you everything, everything. There's a chance now and then, now and then. No more cut and run. No more cut and run. No more cut and run.
So what led to the beginning of that song, the writing of that song?
I should say that I've written all the songs I've written to one extent or another with my husband, Rick Litvin. And he actually, he had the opening lines. I don't know where he got them. And I had this image of, I've spent a lot of time in the Southwest, and scorpions are these weird creatures that live in the dark. And I was way into therapy at the time and was trying to write a song about coming out into the light after having lived in the dark, which hopefully I've done. So that was sort of the central metaphor of the song.
Okay. And now, who sings the song?
Oh, I
She
do.
does.
Oh, you sing it as well. Okay, so
Yes.
this is your one. This is your one song. They give you one song to sing.
That's it.
That's your own.
Yes.
And that's it. Okay. So what is there about the writing of that song that you decided that you didn't want to pass it off? The performance of that song, or the way that you communicate that?
You know, I think it was partly that I recorded it years ago, and doing it with these two really made it kind of different. John and I had actually sung it together a bunch over the last few years, and as my boy singer, and it just sounded different with the two of them. So I guess in my mind, it was kind of reinventing it a little bit, like taking an old recording and doing it differently.
Okay. Do you ever change your lyrics when you do something like that on this? I'm just curious about revision, because you're talking about musical revision, I think, but you're probably not, once the words are there, they're there for you.
I don't usually change words. I definitely play with melodies. I mess around with melodies, partly to keep myself interested, I guess, over the years of performing the same songs over and over. But no, the words are kind of written in stone, as it were.
All right. And Eliza, you wrote Wild Horse, right? Tell me about that song. How does it begin?
She's
dreaming, dreaming of a wild horse. She is breathing hard, trying to catch his mane. Running on the wind, he is leaving her again. And the sky is black, and the night is cold. Far from her home, she hears the wake-up call and the rhythms of the road. But when the night is over, she'll be lifted up, oh, lifted up. She rides the wild horse, she'll be free when she rides. There will be a celebration. She runs, love comes so easily. And she rides the wild horse, elation. She is crying for the crimes of kings and madmen. She's trying to lose the world. Dying on the inside, oh, it sounds so naive to a cynical mind and a critical heart. Those who deceive, the keepers of the spark, oh, these times are dark. But just around the corner, she'll be lifted up, oh, lifted up. She rides the wild horse, she'll be free when she rides. There will be a celebration. She runs, love comes so easily. She rides the wild horse, elation. She gets close sometimes, so close to him. She can hear him breathe, she can touch his skin, but he dances away. It's not yet time. Someday she'll rise and fly. When she rides the wild horse, she'll be free. When she rides, there will be a celebration. She runs, love comes so easily. When she rides the wild horse, elation. When she rides the wild horse, elation. When she rides the wild horse, elation.
That was exactly. I woke up from a dream, and it was a dream that I had more than once. That I was pursuing this beautiful horse that would come prancing up to me, saddled and bridled, and gorgeous black horse that was meant for me to ride. And I would go to get my foot up in the stirrup and ride him, and then he would just pull away, and I could never catch him. He just like out of reach. And so, and I would wake up and I was so upset and sort of filled with this longing. And it was during a time in my life, I think it was one of those kind of dark times in my life, and I was really not playing the music the way I would have liked to. I think I wasn't really on my path in a way. And so I think the horse was really my joy and sort of my grounding in myself. And so that's where it came from.
Right. And then who sings this one?
I sing that.
Okay. How did you end up reinterpreting the song?
Well, Eliza, on her recording, it's just her and a piano, and it's so beautiful. That recording is from her pre-Red House days, and just a beautiful beautiful rendition. And when I listened to it, I said, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be able to play that." Come close to that piano part, so I figured I'll try it on guitar. Mm-hmm. And I tried it in a few different ways, and I was able to get it. It had a little bit more of a groove than Eliza's version, and then it seemed to be okay. And yeah, I love that. I love singing the song. It's a beautiful song.
Now, when you have something like this, it seems like you're looking at a really interesting negotiation, because you're reinventing each other's songs. How does that pan out for you? How often do you say, John Gorka, I like you're using guitar, but maybe not the way that you're reinterpreting it? Or is it always, that's the person's ability to say, I want to do this differently? How does that work for you?
Because we didn't think about it too much. We
just loved it. I think we all just loved it. I think that's one of the reasons it works with us, is that we just like the way each other approaches songs so much that we just didn't really have to go. We just went, wow, that song just sounds better than than my version. To me, their versions of my songs are like the best versions of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I'm sorry.
It was a non-issue. It really, really was a non-issue how we each did each other's songs.
I was really looking for a lot more drama behind the scenes here to find out
not getting it with us.
Yeah, not on that one.
Sorry.
Oh, but wait.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else we have drama?
Just the ones we tried to do, because there was a couple songs we tried as our cover songs from outside the group. I know I tried to do Red River Valley, I think, because I always loved that song, and I got a version of it that was very close, but I was never able to nail it down. And so I went to the Kashiville song, which is a song also that I tried to record for years and years, but I finally felt like I got a good version of it.
Well, we experimented with things, but in terms of each other's stuff, we found the songs and we made them our own. It was easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that a trick to covering other people's music, when you look at the lyrics and you say, I'm just going to make it my own, and you don't ever think about or get invested in the original version in some way? I mean, it seems like, to me, interested in writing, a really interesting way to revise something. You say, this is what this person has said. I'm going to take their words and go in a different direction. And how successful or how often do you do that?
I do a lot of covers, so maybe I'll answer this first. I probably do more covers than these two do in general. I guess I don't think about it. I fall in love with a song and I put myself into it in whatever way I hear it. I'm not trying to reinvent anything. I'm not trying to reinterpret it, just trying to do it well and feel it. And then it ends up being something different than the original.
Okay.
Feeling it is exactly right. I think about the covers I've done, just inhabiting it but by feeling your way in.
Okay.
And me, I'm bound by limitations. So there's only a certain number of ways I'm going to be able to do a song. So there's like maybe one. So I try to do it that way.
But that's the John Gorka style, right? I mean, that
yeah,
one
style is born of
way.
limitation.
That's
Yes.
I'm curious why you say born of limitations, though. What is it that you feel limits you? Is it a technical proficiency on playing, which I...
Yes, playing and singing.
That is so not true.
I have, of course,
We're
left
laughing
myself
because he's
open
so
for
great.
that, because I was hoping you would say, why, no. But why is that? I mean, what is there that you feel is a limitation on that?
Oh, I just know that the notes I'm trying to get to and that I can't get to them, so I try another way. And I've done that with, you know, the tempo of a song. You know, there was one time I was trying to do a song for a collection of Pete Seeger's music, The Water is Wide, and I had the Pete Seeger songbook, and it had his tablature of how he was playing the guitar part. It was just a beautiful part. I remember hearing him play one time in Easton, Pennsylvania, back of a theater, getting ready for the show, and I wanted to be able to do that, and I was never able to do it. I couldn't keep I couldn't sustain the energy, so I ended up having to do it my way.
Okay. Well, we haven't gotten to a song, I think, that you wrote, but If These Walls Could Talk is one of the songs that you wrote.
That was when I wanted to write something for the Red Horse project, and I was at the Folk Alliance where they were announcing, a record company was announcing the project. Folk Alliance is like a folk singer convention, and they announced I was a little scared that they were going to announce the project because we hadn't made the record yet. And anyway, somebody came up to me and said, when they said Red Horse, I thought they were talking about my horse. And she said she had a chestnut mare. And eventually that stuck into my head. And the next day I was playing in Covington, Kentucky, across the river from Cincinnati. And Covington was known as a place where illegal activities took place.
And this is why you were there?
Well,
okay. No.
Yes, in a way, but not as emphasis was less on the illegal things than on the music. And so I was wandering around this place where these illegal activities took place in the past. And I said, if these walls could talk. And I thought, oh, here we go.
If these walls could talk, they would say, shut up. They would say, be still. You've already said enough. If these walls could talk, say pipe down. They would speak her name, a lone, lonesome sound. If these walls could talk, they'd repeat her name. They would point at you, showing who's to blame. If these walls could talk, they would paint the scene, a running chestnut mare out of a broken dream. Walls could talk, they would say shut up. They would say be still, you've already said enough. If these walls could talk, they would say goodbye. Get out of here, don't wanna see you cry. If your world were slate and your life were chalk, they would speak of dust. If these walls could talk, if your life were slate and your love were chalk, they would speak of dust. If these walls could talk, they will speak of dust. If these walls could talk.
And then who is singing that now?
I sing that one.
You sing as
yeah.
well. Okay.
And it's got a red horse in it.
FYI.
Yeah, FYI.
Yeah, that's just only for my own.
It's not in the lyrics. It just shows up at each.
Well, it's
time
in
you
it's
play
it's
it.
in there. It's implied.
Okay. Okay. And that's what led to the naming of the group. Then your.
No, we had
meeting
I think we had the name already. I think we had a group name already. Yeah.
Okay. But someone mentioned a red horse to you anyway, Chestnut
Yes,
Mare,
and then
that,
I got it into
and you
the
said
song.
that must
Yes.
go into the song
Yes.
now to go with that. Tell me about being a singer-songwriter. You've had other people cover your songs, and tell me about writing a song and then having it covered by maybe somebody, for example, outside the group, in which you say, that's a really interesting take. I didn't think about that at the beginning. How does that work for you as a singer-songwriter?
Well, I just had Joan Baez do two of mine, and I was just thrilled with her version of it. Both of them, they were different than how I do them, and they were just beautiful. They really had her stamp on them, and it was a Steve Earle production, so it was really, it had his producer sensibilities too. So I was just like, giddy with joy.
Okay.
I don't think I can't think of anyone's ever heard of who's covered any of my songs. I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, I do your song," but
That John Gorka guy.
Yeah.
John Gorka.
but you've had
I've
people.
had a few people. Yeah. And that's the greatest honor, that somebody would take your work and want to sing it. Sing. I love. That's what when I hear them singing my songs, I say it's like I'm surrounded by angels. They're singing my words. Am I dead? That's what I first thought.
It's variable ways of interpreting that. Tell me about what got you into folk music, because folk music seems like one of the areas that the primacy of the word, you really have to be focused on lyrics. You really have to be focused on the story. And that's one of the reasons that actually I'm a fan of folk music, because I like the story aspect to it. Is that what drew you in? Is it the music, the instruments? What got you into the singer-songwriter?
I was 14 and I heard Joni Mitchell's Blue album, and that's what got me into this. So, is that folk? No, I don't think that's folk, and I don't know what folk exactly is, but the idea of using words in a sort of meaningful, profound, literate way, and personal way, just really hit home for me, and that's what got me on the road.
Okay.
At first, I wanted to hear banjo music, and the banjo led me into the acoustic music world, and the acoustic music world led me to the singer-songwriters. And it seemed like I hear something and say, "Oh, what's that?" And it often had the folk word attached to it. So I don't know if what I do is folk music or not, but that's what there's something about it. That our friend Jack Hardy, his definition of folk music is where the song is more important than the singer, and I think that's that's what I think attracted me to folk music, because it seemed it could be about anything, it could be about any part of a person's life, and it seemed to be I don't know, I was moved by it. That maybe it's the earnestness or something.
Okay.
Yeah, the sort of stripped down aspect, I think, was always appealing. My dad was a folk singer, so and it made a lot of records and wrote songs. So I think I was just in on the deal very early on. But I do remember that I was sort of like I was a very shy child, and very it's kind of in a way not very landed in my body and my sense of self. So I think it was a way to kind of speak my truth in a safe way. And I think the most important thing was that to me it seemed like a really incredible way that I could meet guys.
Absolutely.
I had not heard of folk music as a guy magnet before.
Or a girl magnet, for that matter.
You would meet the poets, it helped you meet the poetic types, and I think that, it was a big part of it.
Like
it's true. No, I met my husband because he was a fan of mine. He used to see me sing at this place, Folk City in Greenwich Village, and he just longed for me, apparently, for a couple of years. But he was a fan because he saw me do this.
And I always I always thought it'd be nice to be with a guy that was a fan, because if they didn't love my music, then it wasn't going to work.
It's true.
I guess it's in ways it's probably, for me, I feel it's like the best thing I can do. So if they're not going to like that, they're not going to like the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Rest of the package.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right. It's pretty much best foot forward right here.
Well, John, you've also done a couple of things, like a musical version of a poem at the Unnational Monument by the Canadian border. And I'm curious for you, or for all of you, because you said, someone said poetry, that's how you met the poets. Right? What is it for you that defines, what's the boundary between here's a poem, here's a song, here's a poem set to music? What is that, or does that genre not matter? I was curious, though, that it was in your bio.
Yeah, for that one, somebody asked me, who was making a short film about the life and work of William Stafford, asked me if I wanted to contribute some music. So they sent me a book of some of his work. And I found something that, and I just sat down and I started singing it, and that pretty much was it. But as far as your question about a poem and a song, I feel like a poem can stand on the words alone. For me, a song is a kind of a combination of what I can articulate in the lyrics and what I can also say with the music that things I can't find, I don't have words for. So it's that the word and the words and the wordlessness of the, and it seems like a perfect form of expression for me, because I'm not a great musician. I can't do instrumental music that'll stand on its own. I'm not a poet, so it's that combination that makes me feel like I can contribute something.
Yeah, the melody and singing and everything, that there's so much that's conveyed. I think John's right. It's wordless. That it's really quite different than poetry in that sense, because you're really counting on the melody and the lyrics to carry the lyrics. It's sort of the wings of that carry the lyrics.
Well, and I guess the voice, because if somebody can't sing and sings your song, it's not gonna work.
The singing is a big part of it too.
Have you ever written a poem that you said, I'm not turning this into a song because I want it to be by itself and to not have that attachment to it, not have the musical attachment, or is it always songs?
I'm so desperate to have new songs that if I wrote something I thought was good, it would be a song, believe me, because I need to have them to record.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting, I mean, what is the pressure on you? You feel like there's a amount that you need to do that you're not reaching as a songwriter?
Well, yeah, I mean, ever since I became a mother, yes, I need to be more prolific if I want to keep this career going. And so it's always a challenge for me. Write a new song, write a new song, write a new song, put out a new album, because that is how a big part of how we make this living work is putting out new albums, which means writing songs.
Okay. Well, that is a great way to bring it to the end, to talk about making a living, and I know that you're going to go off and make a living now.
Yeah, and we have fun doing it. It's really a great gift. So.
All right, well, Eliza Gilkyson, John Gorka, and Lucy Kaplansky, thank you very much for being here on Writers Talk.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And from the Center for the Study and Teaching of Writing at The Ohio State University, this is Doug Dangler. Keep writing.